Today, we're going over the top 20 most asked questions about bulking because a lot of you guys have been getting confused. Question number 1, how many calories should I eat in a bulk? Obviously, this is gonna depend on who's asking the question, but first thing you need to do is calculate your maintenance calories, and then you wanna go about 250 to 500 calories over. The second question, how fast should I gain weight on a bulk? So for bulking, you're gonna wanna aim for about a 250 to 500 calorie surplus, like I said earlier, which is gonna translate to about half a pound to 1 pound a week. If you go anything above that, it's gonna be mostly fat gain. You're not gonna build really any more muscle.
How much protein do you need per day? You try to get as much grams of protein as how much you weigh. So for example, I weigh 145 pounds. I would try to get around 145 grams of protein.
So bulking or cutting, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight is a pretty good benchmark. All right, the next question, can I bulk without getting fat? This is what a lot of people struggle with when they're trying to like dirty bulk. If you get into 500,000 calorie surplus, like I said, like maybe 250 calories of that is going into muscle. Everything else is just fat. So if you don't want to get fat, just strip down the calories a little bit and just only do the surplus that you need to actually build the muscle. Anything else is fat. So it's about 250 to 500 calories for beginners.
What's the best workout split for bulking? There's a lot, there's the PPL, upper lower. Personally, I've heard that the upper lower is the best workout split in the gym 4 times a week. So if you want to try that, you can. PPL is also pretty good. You're in the gym 6 times a week though. So whatever really fits your schedule.
Yeah, for students and people working 9 to 5s, upper lower 4 days a week tends to be the best. But if you have a lot of time on your hands, maybe it's a summer, push pull legs 6 days a week. Or you can do upper lower 6 times a week and you're hitting every muscle group 3 times. That works well too.
How many times a week should I train each muscle? You try to train each muscle 2 times a week, let your muscles recover. That's gonna be a pretty good split for you.
Yeah, so if you're running a bro split or a body part split and you're only hitting it once a week, that's just unnecessary because none of your muscles take 7 days to recover fully. So yeah, 2-3 times a week is the best, and most splits have it hitting 2. So next question, do I need to track calories to bulk? This is a tricky one, and if you really want to focus on that lean bulk and just a little bit of your calories going over the maintenance, you're gonna want to track it, at least for the most part. What I'm doing right now is I've been cutting, and so I have my cutting diet, but I've had to go up to maintenance for the last 2 weeks because I haven't been able to get to the gym. So I've just been eating my cutting diet plus eyeballing the amount of food that I think I need to get back up to maintenance. And with that, you can do that for bulking too, and just eat your cutting diet and then add about 500 calories, 1,000 calories, whatever you need to get to a small surplus.
Should I do cardio while bulking? I mean, cardio is okay if you do it either or not, but if you have trouble overeating while you're bulking, cardio can be very necessary and help you that well.
Yeah, so cardio is a tool at the end of the day. It lowers it gives a higher maintenance, so it.
Cut that.
What foods are best for clean bulking? So clean bulking, also known as lean bulking. The main thing, it doesn't really have to do too much about the foods. It's more about the calories and macros, as you guys know. But food for bulking, if you really have a hard time getting in the calories, oats are good. Steak. Chicken is good for cutting or bulking or whatever.
Peanut butter.
Peanut butter is really good, super calorie dense. Olive oil is a really good one.
Protein powder.
Yep, cram in as much protein powder as you can for sure. Right. Should I dirty bulk or clean bulk? This is a pretty easy one. Dirty bulking, you'll gain pretty much the same amount of fat, or pretty much the same amount of muscle, just a lot more fat. So it just doesn't make any sense not to lean bulk.
How long should a bulk last? A bulk can last anytime, Somebody could be bulking for a year, somebody could be bulking for 3 months. It really just depends where you're at and how much you need to get bigger.
So, and also, bulking is really like the main state you should be in when you're working out. Ideally, you're bulking 9 months of the year and cutting 3 months, but yeah, so most of the time you should be lean bulking.
What supplements help with bulking? Protein powder, creatine, those are really good and can help you a lot.
You can also get into fish oils and vitamin D and all that, but at the end of the day, protein powder and creatine are going to do the most for you. How much muscle can I gain per month? So if you're a beginner, 15 pounds in the first year is really good. So in a month, that translates to about 1 pound, which even if you're doing only a 250 calorie surplus, which is super lean, that's 2 pounds of weight gained a month, and probably only 1 of that is gonna be muscle. So even if you're really lean bulking, not all of it's turning into muscle, so you're gonna have to cut back the fat anyway. But that's just another example why lean bulking is better than dirty bulking.
So how do I know if I'm gaining just muscle or just fat? Well, you really won't be gaining that much fat if you're in a lean surplus, you're working out a lot, and you're eating good food. So if you take progress pictures over a couple of times, you will see the difference.
Yeah, the mirror is a really good indicator for this. Is creatine good for bulking? So we touched on this a little bit earlier, but yeah, creatine has tons of benefits. Cutting, bulking, whatever. The main thing it does is stores water in your muscles, which is good for recovery and performance. So yeah, creatine's all around good.
Do beginners need to bulk or do they need to recomp? Well, it depends on where you're at, you know. If you're like a skinny dude, probably bulk. If you're like a skinny fat dude, maybe you should try to recomp. Just depends on what you want to do.
I'm a bigger fan of just full on cutting or bulking. Recomping, it does the job, but it just takes longer than a cut and bulk does.
How important is sleep during a bulk? If I'm going to be honest with you, sleep is probably the number one thing that is the most important for gaining muscle. If you're getting 2 hours of sleep a night, you might as well not even try to go in a bulk because you're not going to gain any muscle. If you can sleep at least, try to aim for 7 to 9 hours a night. A lot of the recovery is done during your sleep. You'll gain a lot of growth.
Yeah, so sleep is one of those big things on cuts and bulks. It's basically if you don't sleep enough, you're going to get the opposite what you want done. Like if you're in a surplus and you're not sleeping enough, you're gaining all fat. And if you're in a deficit and you're not sleeping enough, you're gonna lose all muscle. So sleep is super important. Should I change rep ranges when bulking? It's pretty unnecessary. Some people go from like 6 to 8 and then they go up to 8 to 12, but really you should be in the 8 to 12 rep range all the time if your goal is hypertrophy. But yeah, I would just keep it the same.
How do I stop bloating when eating more? I'm gonna be honest with you, bloating is just a natural part of bulking. But if you try to keep your sugar and sodium levels low, you might see a little difference and your face might seem to slim down.
Yeah. When do I know it's time to stop bulking and to cut? So a lot of people get this wrong. They'll bulk all the way to 16-17% body fat. If you stop at 15, that's a really good stopping point. You're not gonna look very fat. Cut back down to 10% and then bulk back up to 15. You'll make a ton of progress that way and you'll never get too fat. So 15 is pretty much cut off. All right, that was it. Hope you guys learned something today. Subscribe for more. We'll be dropping another video soon.